How's it going, guys? So I haven't done a vlog for a while, but I thought I would just let you guys see what it is that I've been working on. So I'm going to be airbrushing a hoodie for the new Wicker Man ride. I've got various different designs I've been working with. It's took me a little while to get the design together. It's gonna be a bit crazy, but we'll give it a go and see how it comes out, and then I'm going to wear it on opening day at the park. So this is the setup that I'm using at the moment. I did actually used to do airbrushing in a past life for a living. Had to give that up though. Yeah, one reason or another, family commitments, etc. So basically, this is just inside my garage. I've got my airbrush equipment over there, which I'll run through in a minute. So basically, I have on the front of this hoodie is going to be the Wicker Man logo on this side on the chest, and the Alton Towers logo on this side on the chest. I've got these up here just as my reference photos, so that I can keep looking back and seeing how the originals are. I've also got the iPad set up over here, which is just dangling off its case, but that will be basically for, I'm going to get these images up on there as I'm doing them, and then you can also zoom in and, you know, look at different parts in a lot closer detail. I've also got these templates, or stencils as you call them, that I made. I've made these completely by hand, made these myself just from the reference images that I printed off. So basically you just use them to shoot the paint through, and then you just add all the details in afterwards. So I've got these already pre-made, which I'm going to show you how they're made now. Basically, this is my airbrushing trolley, if you want to call it. It's something I just sort of threw together just so I could start doing some airbrushing at home. Obviously, when I had my shop, it was a lot bigger setup than this. I had massive compressors and a lot more airbrushes, etc. But just because I just do it at home now, as and when, just for myself. Yeah, I find I just store a few paints and stuff in here. I do have like loads of paint stored elsewhere, but this is just sort of the paints that I use on the regular. The two airbrushes that I'm using is I bought this as like my first investment for an airbrush, and it's an Iwata, but it's the Neo Iwata, so it's the cheapest of the cheap for the Iwata. But to be honest, it does everything I need it to do. For all the small detail I need, it does it perfectly. I have got two of them. I've had to replace the needles in one of them, but other than that, I've been using this for quite a few years, and it's brilliant. To be honest, for a cheap airbrush, it's definitely worth the money. And if it does break, you just buy a new one. It's not a massive problem. I did get this Badger Patriot one. I did a course. I did a course on some advanced airbrushing techniques, and I got given this as a freebie for the course, and I got to use it throughout the course. It's nice. It chucks out a lot more paint than what the Neo Iwata does. I can't quite get the air pressure right to get it for fine detail as well as what I can for the Iwata, but that's probably because I've been using the Iwata a lot longer. But yeah, it is a good airbrush, and if the Iwata's not available or broke it or whatever, then yeah, the Badger, I can pick up and use that just as easily. Yeah, so these are two pretty inexpensive airbrushes that if it's something you're looking to get into, then yeah, it's nice and cheap way of doing it. So as for paints, there's two. I mean, I never used to use these brands while I have my shop. while I have my shop, I used to use a specialist paints. I used to go to a specialist paints wholesaler who I used to get all my paints from to do my airbrushing, so I also did commercial spraying as well, and I just found it was easier to do that. But while I'm at home, because I'm not using nowhere near as much, I feel like I can buy in smaller quantities, and to be honest, I think these are better. These are a lot more airbrush friendly, but because obviously I had the commercial side as well, the paints had to be for like spraying whole cars and stuff as well, whereas this would not be a viable way of buying paint. But basically, you've got the Createx type, Createx paints, which are really good for all sorts of different mediums. You can use them on cars, you can use them on clothes like this, you can use them on anything. They're water-based substitute, which is good. Obviously, being at home in my garage, I don't want to be using solvents, so the water-based is definitely the way forwards. And then these are the Spectratex paints as well. I got these with when I got my Badger airbrush. I got it in a set, and they're pretty good. It's a nice range of colours. But yeah, got some quite vibrant colours in there as well. So yeah, it's a nice mix I've got. Obviously, you only need the primary colours to make your basics of everything, but you know, it's nice to have a little bit more when you need it. Now, just quick, as you can see, let me unplug you. So as you can see, there is, you know, it's looking a bit sort of faded around the areas, but that's fine at this stage, because at the moment I'm literally just putting some base colour on, because obviously black isn't going to show up in other colours very well, so I'm having to put the white base down first, and then we can start adding some of these colours which are really going to, you know, really pop on the white, whereas if you just put them straight onto the black, you're not really going to see them. So like the fact that it's not quite perfectly straight at the moment, that's also fine. A lot of this you won't see the end product. This is basically just to map it out for me so that I can go in and put some detail in later on. So we've done that side. The reason I masked it is just because I noticed there was a little bit of overspray from the edge of the stencil where you get a bit of overspray, so I'm just eliminating that. Just because it is black, I want to keep it a crisp black where I'm not putting any paint down, so that the contrast is really gonna stand out. So we're gonna put the Wicker Man outline bit on the other side now, and yeah, then we might put some black in here just to bring it back. Right, so as you can see now, this is basically the first layers put on just in white, just to help bring that colour out. You can see on this one it's sort of doubled over there where it's moved a little bit. That's not an issue, I can get rid of that. That's not hard to do. I say like this first layer, you're not going to notice it, you're not going to see it when it's finished. This is only just to make the colours come out a bit more. I might like where the lighter colours are, I might hit it with a bit more white just to try and make them pop out a little bit more. So yeah, good start so far. So here we have the pretty much finished product. I might do a few more little bits of tweaking to it. I might tidy up a few lines on it. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with how that's turned out. You know, obviously with airbrushing and that, I can always add to it at a later date or change something if I'm not happy with it. So all I'll have to do with this now is just heat press it with an iron, and then yeah, should last me. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.